Okay, we have reached the semifinals of Monte Carlo 2025. They are Alejandro Davidovich Fokina versus Carlos Alcaraz and Alex de Minaur versus Lorenzo Musetti. I have predicted half of these matches. Oh no, actually, 3 out of 4 of these matches incorrectly, but they were not all bad predictions. That's not what I'm slightly upset about. So let's start with um, what I got correct. I said that Deminor would win in straight sets, and he did that against Dimitrov, who looked to be injured. He did not look like he could move very well at all. He almost looked like he was going to be falling over at some points, which resulted in him losing 6-love in 44 minutes, which was less time than it took for Alcaraz and Fils to play one set, at least the first set, maybe the second as well. I'm not sure why Dimitrov decided to play the match, considering he couldn't do anything. He just let himself get humiliated, but he did, and he got double bageled, which is very, very rare in tennis, especially between players that are not ranked super far apart. So, yeah, that happened, but it ended up being a correct fulfillment of my prediction. Then Lorenzo Musetti defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas in 3 sets. I thought that Tsitsipas would win in 3 sets, given that he had a 5-love head-to-head against Musetti. But I guess there's a first time for everything. And this was still a close 3-set match, so that was not a very bad prediction there for me, especially considering the head-to-head. Alcaraz defeated Artur Fils in 3 sets. I said that Fils would win in 3 sets. But Fils most certainly could have won this match because he had 7 break points. He won the first set 6-4. He had 7 break points in the second set, and he didn't convert in any of them. And the worst part of that was when it was 5-all and he had love 40. So had he taken just one of those break points, he would have been serving for the match at 6-5 in the second set. But he choked. It was not like Alcaraz was doing anything super clutch or special, because Alcaraz couldn't even make a first serve in the game, or maybe he made 1 or 2, but he seemed to be missing almost every first serve in that game. After he got the second serve in, he wasn't really doing anything special for most of the points. He was just defending and getting all the balls back. And it wasn't the most amazing defense ever. It was good, pretty good defense. But Fils had the attackable balls and he did the mistakes. So it was not like Alcaraz was doing anything really special on those break points. He was just staying consistent and not missing. Fils got the balls to attack, and he messed up. So then he lost that second set 7-5. Then in the third set, he went up a break early in the set, but he relinquished it, and he lost 4 or 5 games in a row from 3-1 or 3-2 to lose the set 6-3 and smashed his racket along the way, understandably, because he threw it away. So Fils most certainly could have won this match in either the second or the third set if he had just took advantage of his break points, or in the case of the third set, held his advantage after already breaking serve. But he couldn't do that. His mentality was not there today, at least. I don't want to say it's not there yet, because I recall there was a match last year in Hamburg, the final of Hamburg, where he defeated the top seed Alexander Zverev, who was decent, not like Zverev today, who has been pretty bad since the end of the Australian Open when he reached a final there. He's been losing about half of his matches since then. Zverev last year in Hamburg, Fils defeated him. He was saving like 20 break points in the match, or something crazy like that. And it seemed that he was just hitting line after line over and over. So he was extremely clutch in that match. I remember watching it. But perhaps he was just extremely lucky that day, because this match certainly showed that he was not clutch. But maybe it's just clutch one day, chokes the other. I guess that's how it goes. So I don't know. I guess that's how it is. But anyway, that match most certainly could have gone either way. So that prediction from me, that Fils would win in 3 sets, was not a bad prediction. Nor was the Tsitsipas prediction. Nor was the Deminor prediction, because that one was actually correct. The worst prediction that I had was saying that Alexei Popyrin would defeat Alejandro Davidovich Fokina in 3 sets. He got pasted in straights. Yeah, it's not really a surprising result. I suppose I thought that Popyrin, he defeated Ruud, who is a clay specialist, so why could he not defeat Fokina? Popyrin just didn't show up. He just didn't. I don't know, it's simple as that. If he had shown up like he did against Ruud, this might have been a more interesting match, but he never showed up. He never did. So he showed why he is a Masters champion in his match against Ruud when he defeated him. And today he showed why that win was a fluke. Because he threw in a stinker right after a big win. Just like most bums do. So I'm not really too upset about my predictions, because only one of them was really a bad prediction, even though only one of them was technically correct. The other two were just close matches. What I am a bit upset about is some YouTube commenters who seem to think that the match between Alcaraz and Fils was such a high quality match. This was not a high quality match. Looking at statistics, it was a high quality match in terms of drama, perhaps. But what these people do is they see that there are a few very good points in the match. The match has some drama. It has a few very good points, a few very athletic points. So, this is an amazing match. But when you look at the statistics, and when you look at what was going on in the match, you can see that this was not even top 10 matches of the year. This was not an amazing match. Because an amazing match is not a match in which both players make 20 or more unforced errors than they do winners. That is not an amazing match. That is an error-strewn match. And an error-strewn match is not really an amazing match in most circumstances. Now, there were some YouTube commenters who were saying, anyone who said that Fils choked doesn't know anything about tennis. Well, I guess that we have now determined that if you have a break point at an extremely crucial moment of the match, if you have 5-all love 40 and you have 3 break points to serve for the match and you miss an attackable shot, that's not choking. I don't know why that's not choking, but according to these tennis experts on YouTube, in the YouTube comment section, Fils didn't choke. Why? I don't know. Can you tell me why having an attackable shot on a break point and missing it is not a choke? I can't seem to think of a reason why that's not a choke. That seems like the textbook definition of a choke to me is failing to perform when it matters the most, And that is exactly what he did. Because it's not like Alcaraz was blasting aces, blasting serve plus ones, blasting forehands past him on those break points. The guy couldn't even make a first serve. He was giving Feast the balls to attack. Feast had the ball. All he had to do was put the ball in a court at medium to medium high speed, and that would most likely have put him in a good position to win the point, or just won him the point. But no, he had an attackable shot, an easy shot. I will even call it an easy shot, and he misses it on a break point to serve for the match. So, according to you tennis YouTube commenters, that's not a choke, because I guess Alcaraz's defense pressured him so much into missing that shot, even though he could make that shot several times throughout the match, just not in the crucial moments. Gee, I wonder why. And apparently, this is a very high quality match from both players. In fact, it's so high quality that I'm sure I can look at the statistics and they will reflect that same quality. So let's look at the statistics right now. So, given that this was such a high quality match, you would expect that the players probably hit more winners than unforced errors, right? Or maybe they don't have to hit more winners than unforced errors because, they're going for their shots. So they're going to make errors. So maybe they can have a few more unforced errors than winners. Okay, maybe they can have a few more, but it can still be a high quality match because they're going for their shots. Yeah, they have a few more unforced errors, but they have a lot of winners too. So just because they have a few more unforced errors than winners doesn't mean it's not a high quality match. Okay, sure. So let's look at the stats and let's see if they had only a few more unforced errors than winners. And maybe if that's the case, then maybe this was a high quality match because maybe they were just going for their shots and made some mistakes, but made many winners as well. So let's see how many winners and unforced errors Artur Fils made. He hit 23 winners. If this was a high quality match, first of all, that's not an insane number of winners. 50 or something like that would be an insane number. That's going for your shots. That's a high number of winners. He hit 23 winners. So if this were high quality, you'd expect him to make fewer unforced errors and that, maybe a little more. Or maybe a little more, because he's going for his shots, guys. He's going for his shots. He's going to make mistakes. So maybe he can have like 30 unforced errors. Maybe even 40 unforced errors. Oh, what? He made 53 unforced errors? And 23 winners? Oh, so he did 30 more unforced errors than winners? Well, that's just because he's going for his shots, guys. He's going for his shots. He's going to make errors. It's still a high-quality match because he's going for his shots. Now, Alcaraz, on the other hand, was a stellar opponent because his statistics were great as well. He hit 18 winners. Wow, that's a pretty high number, guys. 18 winners. So maybe he did 20, 25, 30 unforced errors because he's going for his shots, right? He's going for his shots. Oh, 41 unforced errors. So 23 more unforced errors than winners. But this is still a high quality match, guys. He's going for his shots. That's why he has unforced errors. So what I've learned today from the YouTube comment section is that if you have a match where both players hit more than 20 more unforced errors than they do winners, it's a high quality match as long as the players were going for their shots. Because since they're hitting the ball so hard, the errors will come. And even though the errors come, it doesn't mean it's low quality. They can make 30 more unforced errors than winners, and that's still high quality because they hit the ball hard. Yeah, guys, we learned that professional tennis players can hit the ball hard. Wow, that's incredible. I just realized that every time professional tennis players hit the ball hard and show that they can hit the ball 100 miles an hour in a match, regardless of whether it goes in or out, that's super high quality. Wow, look at this. These guys are hitting the ball so hard. It's not going in, but they're hitting it hard, so this must be an insanely high quality match, right? Well, according to people on YouTube, it is because they were hitting the ball hard, and that's amazing. And the match was high quality because they hit the ball hard. There's no other reason given for that. So I guess I've shown that I don't know anything about tennis because if I look at a match where players make more than double amount of errors as they do winners, and I say this wasn't very high quality, I don't know anything about tennis. You should go back to watching pickleball. I bet you've never even hit a serve over 100 miles an hour. You don't know anything about the mechanics of tennis. Yeah, okay. Sorry guys, I haven't hit a serve over 100 miles an hour, so I guess I no longer possess the adequate judgment to watch a match and see that there's more than double the amount of mistakes than there are winners and say that's not the best. That's not these players at their best. These players can play better than that. Since I haven't hit a serve over 100 miles an hour in my tennis career, I'm clearly incapable of making such a judgment. How could I possibly watch a match and see that these players are hitting the ball out to more than double the amount of times that they're hitting it in and say that that's not a very high quality match? How dare you make such a judgment? For you have never hit a serve over 100 miles an hour, so you clearly do not know what you're talking about, and you cannot use your eyes to make judgments about a tennis match. You should go back to watching pickleball. See, I watched this match, and I see that these players are hitting the ball so hard, and that makes it high quality. How dare you suggest otherwise? You just want to downplay Alcaraz's achievements. You hater. How could you say this match is low quality? Wow, what a hater. No. Listen, guys. I mean, well, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Go back to watch pretty much any of Rafael Nadal's matches in Monte Carlo, and they will be better than what we just witnessed. And now everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, well, obviously he's the greatest clay court player of all time, so obviously his matches will be better. Yes, so I'm aware of the fact that Nadal is the greatest clay court player of all time, but I think that people calling this match high quality just goes to show how far the bar has dropped when we had Djokovic at his peak, a high level Federer at his peak, Nadal at his peak. Oh, just because it's not that level doesn't mean it's high quality. No. Actually, it's not high quality because it's just not. It's not that every match without peak big three is low quality. It's that a match where both players make 20 plus more unforced errors than winners is not high quality in and of itself. It's not because of the big three are better. I know the big three are better, guys. But this is not a high quality match. So, can you explain to me? I mean, I'm probably repeating myself like 5 times because it's necessary for me to comprehend the logic behind this. Can you explain to me how a match where not one but both of the players make more than double the number of unforced errors as they do winners? Can you explain to me why that's a high quality match? Because I have not received an explanation other than the explanation that these players were going for their shots. Well, I suppose since they were going for their shots, it must have been high quality. It doesn't matter if they were making the shots or not. It's just the fact that they wanted to make the shots and they were hitting the ball hard. Because we have never seen tennis players hit the ball hard before. If they were hitting the ball hard, the match must have been amazing, regardless of whether the ball actually went in the court or not. So I have not heard an actual explanation for why this match is high quality, despite the winners and unforced errors ratio, other than the fact that they were going for their shots. So when you're going for your shots, you will make errors. Yes, exactly. I agree. But when you do that, that doesn't make the match high quality simply because you decided to go for your shots. So you're basically saying, if I go for my shots, I'm going to make mistakes. But I still played well because I didn't want to make the mistakes. I was going for the right shots, but the mistakes just came. I was still playing well because my intention was to hit the shots in. But obviously I didn't, because that's what happens when you go for them. So I think I need to move on, but I think I made my points. But I don't know. I don't even know why I bother to respond to these idiots, I will call them. These idiots. I don't know why I bother to type out a response, but I guess it makes for more entertaining videos like this, which no one is watching anyway, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, let's now predict the semifinals. So I've already talked at length about the fantastic statistics of the Alcaraz-Fils match of the tournament. Now let's get on to Davidovich-Fokina and his match against Popyrin, because Davidovich-Fokina, of course, will be playing Alcaraz in this all-Spanish semi-final. Davidovich-Fokina did not look that great either. He hit 11 winners and 13 unforced errors, so he made 2 more unforced errors than winners. And that is not great, but it's better than Alcaraz, who hit 23 more unforced errors than winners. And Alcaraz didn't do a crazy number of winners either. He only hit 7 more winners than Davidovich-Fokina. But he hit like 30 more unforced errors than Fokina. Now, Popyrin obviously didn't do a good match. He had 17 winners and 31 unforced errors, so he did 14 more unforced errors than winners. Who do I think will win between Davidovich-Fokina and Alcaraz? The head-to-head is 1-love to Alcaraz. They have faced once before on clay, which was in Barcelona in 2023, where Alcaraz won in straight sets, but that was a tough match. It was 7-6, 6-4. So, Fokina, he actually may be... No, I don't know if I would say he's better than he was in 2023 at that time. But Alcaraz may actually be a bit worse at this time. At least from what I can judge based on the last high-quality match from Alcaraz on clay in Monte-Carlo. He didn't look that good to me. I guess that's just my irrelevant opinion coming from someone who hasn't hit a 100-mile-an-hour serve in his life. Alcaraz didn't look that good. And I'm picking Fokina to take him out. But since neither player has been playing that well, I think this can be close. So I will have Fokina winning this in 3 sets. And yes, I am aware that I can be completely wrong and Alcaraz can win in straight sets. And then, if it were the case that people actually watch these videos, which they don't, so none of this actually matters, then they would probably say, "Ha! Look! Alcaraz was actually playing good, because he now defeated Fokina, so he couldn't have been that bad." Well, of course, that's a simple fallacy, because his performance in the match against Fils is independent from his performance in the semifinal against Davidovich-Fokina, and Davidovich-Fokina has not been playing that well either. So just because Alcaraz can defeat him doesn't necessarily mean that he was playing a high level, and it doesn't mean that he was playing a high level in the previous match, which is a separate match from this match. But anyway, I don't need to bother saying that. I'm making my prediction. Davidovich-Fokina in 3. Sure, why not? And now on to the other semifinal, which is Lorenzo Musetti, who took out the three-time champion Stefano Tsitsipas in 3 sets to get his first win against Tsitsipas in 6 attempts. Congratulations to the Italian. He is now taking on Alex de Minaur, who gave a double bagel beatdown to Grigor Dimitrov, whom... And I don't know why Dimitrov decided to play, considering that he didn't look like he could really do anything, but he did, and he let himself get humiliated. So it's kind of hard to take much from the stats of the Dimitrov Deminor match because he was basically playing a guy that couldn't do anything. Like, quite literally, he never won more than 2 points in a row in the match. He didn't have a single game point or break point even, I think. So this is basically as one-sided as you can get without just winning a golden match where you win all 48 points. This is worse than when Federer double bageled Gaudio at the 2005 ATP Finals, because I think most of those games actually went to deuce. So that might be the closest we have seen to a competitive bagel. That, or maybe even the first set of the 2020 French Open when Nadal destroyed Djokovic. Even though that was a bagel, I think that was actually a somewhat competitive bagel, from what I remember. There were multiple deuces in it, and there were actually good rallies in that, but all the games just went Nadal's way, and it was a bagel, but it wasn't like super fast from what I remember. Maybe the length of about a 6-3 set or something like that. So theoretically, a competitive bagel is actually possible if you have a bunch of deuces. It just looks very bad. But this was not a competitive match at all. The Deminor Dimitrov match. Dimitrov, I'm not sure why he opted to play this one, but he did. So, like I was saying, it's a bit hard to take too much from these stats, considering that the guy could not do anything. But you would think in a match like this, Deminor would have maybe a bit overinflated stats. But he actually hit only 7 winners and 8 unforced errors. So even when he was playing a guy who couldn't even move well, he still managed to hit more unforced errors than winners somehow. That's quite interesting. I wasn't really able to see much of the match because it happened too fast for me to even see anything. Musetti, on the other hand, defeated Tsitsipas in 3 sets, and he had better stats. Tsitsipas was actually not that bad. He just lost some crucial points, and then, yeah, I mean, it was a close match. 6-4 in the third, so, I mean, he allowed Musetti's defense. Musetti was defending well, as he usually does, but he didn't capitalize enough. Tsitsipas. And Musetti just got a break advantage in the last 2 sets, and he just held firm. But Tsitsipas was not actually terrible. He hit 25 winners and 15 unforced errors, so he did 10 more winners than unforced errors. Musetti hit 21 winners and 17 unforced errors, so he hit 4 more winners than unforced errors. So this was actually a higher quality match than the Feast match, but I know that people won't like to hear that, but that's a shame to say how statistics kind of work. And they're probably going to call me a fool for just looking at, oh, you have to use your eyes to watch the match. You can't just look at statistics. Yes, but the statistics are there for a reason, It's not like they mean nothing. It's not like when you hit more than 20 more unforced errors and winners, that's a meaningless statistic. No, it shows that you were making a lot of mistakes. Hence, a low quality match. But anyway, so Musetti, he played a good match. 21 winners, 17 unforced errors. He hit 74% first serves in. That is pretty good. De Minaur, he only hit 52% first serves. De Minaur is not known for hitting a high percentage of first serves in. 52% is pretty low. And he was playing a guy where I don't see why he would need to hit super hard first serves, but he still only managed 52%. So I think that Musetti is just playing better tennis than De Minaur. He is a better clay court player, or he should be at least. The head-to-head is 1-1. They have never faced on clay. They have faced once on grass last year, which Musetti won in 3 sets, and once on hard courts in the Australian Open 3 years ago, which De Minaur won in 4 sets. So I think that Musetti is playing the better tennis at the moment. So I think he will win this against De Minaur in straight sets. And I think we will have a final between the 13th seed Lorenzo Musetti and the Spaniard Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, who made the final here 3 years ago. I think he can do it again by defeating Alcaraz in 3 sets. So my predictions: Davidovich Fokina in 3 over Alcaraz, Musetti in straights over De Minaur.